Hi, my name is Judy Litt, and today I have approximately an hour-long Yin Yoga practice to help you get deeply grounded. And to begin with, I'd like you to either be laying down on your mat or sitting in a comfortable position and just begin to take your attention to your breath, feeling your body relax, feeling your shoulders get very heavy. As I explained the intention for this practice. Like I said, one of those intentions is to give you a very deeply grounding, nourishing practice. It's a very windy day here today. It's actually warm for fall, but it's very windy, which is very vata. And fall is a season of vata. And that means wind, it means air, it means movement. And to counteract all of that, we tend to need more grounding. You will need potentially one strap. An exercise band like I have works perfectly fine. Some of the other intentions for this are to help release your hips, release and open your hips, strengthen them, and also strengthen your glutes. And you can always have a couple of blocks, always a good suggestion. A yoga blanket, also always a good suggestion. And to begin with, we're going to come down onto our mat facing the short end, laying down on our belly. Our legs are straight out behind us. And just come into Sphinx briefly. And that is forearms on your mat, elbows under shoulders, belly on the mat, and the rest of your body on the mat. And then go ahead and take your right hand, turn it up towards the ceiling, and then reach it underneath your left. Coming on down, getting a nice shoulder stretch. If you are familiar with shoelace, this is a half shoelace position for your arms. Or bow tie. I've also heard it referred to as bow tie. So this is a half bow tie position. And just letting your chest begin to relax into that right arm. Getting a nice stretch across that right shoulder. And if you find yourself holding anywhere in your body, for instance, I was just holding in my glutes, see if you can let that go. Now, this is very similar to thread the needle, if you're familiar with that. And if that's something that feels better in your body and you know how to do it, go ahead and choose that. And go ahead and press into that left hand and to slowly raise your torso up, bringing the right arm back, Briefly coming back into your Sphinx pose and maybe just rolling those hips around, release any tension you might feel in your low back. And I'm going to scooch over to the side. Of course, we need to do second side. So go ahead and press into the right hand and just take that left arm underneath. Let your torso lay right on your left arm. Slowly opening that left shoulder. And again, notice anywhere in your body that you're holding tension and see if you can let that go. And if you can't let it go, see if you can just soften it a little bit. The last couple of breaths here. Begin to press into that right palm, slowly lifting your torso up, bringing the elbows back under the shoulders, and then stretching into those arms, bringing the glutes back to your heels, briefly coming through a child's pose. Maybe move a little side to side. And walking your hands back towards your knees, taking your legs out to one side and then straight out in front of you. It may be more comfortable for you to sit up on a pillow or a bolster or a folded blanket. Just coming clean a little bit, I'm actually going through a very stressful time in my own life. I was just interrupted by an important call, and that's what gave me the idea for working on this particular practice. So we could be interrupted again, and it'll all be okay. So we're sitting up, our legs are facing the short end of our mat, straight out in front of us. You might want to sit up on a pillow or a folded blanket, if that's more comfortable for you. And go ahead and take your hands to your thighs. Inhale, sit up straight. And exhale, let your head be very heavy, back rounds. We're not trying to yank our head down to our knees. We're just trying to let gravity and time slowly, slowly, slowly begin to bring the head down. But think about really pointing your head straight down towards your legs. And take this first minute to get into a position that's comfortable for you. Your feet can be flexed or you can let them go. It's up to you. And then just come to stillness. And this is caterpillar. Last few breaths here. And go ahead and take your palms to the mat if they're not already on it. Gently begin to press into the mat as you begin to press your torso back upright. Go ahead and grab onto your strap or your exercise band, whatever you may have. Take the soles of your feet to the mat. Our next few poses are going to be done laying down, and we're going to work along one side and then the other. I may have to switch positions so that you can see me on the camera. You take one position and just go ahead and stay there. So gently come down to your elbows and then down to your back. And take your legs out straight. We're going to start with our right foot. And we're going to take your strap or your exercise band or your peace finger fingers, if they can hold onto your big toe like that. You're perfectly welcome to do that. For a lot of people, that can be a little hard, so it's much better to hold onto a strap. And again, we're not yanking here. We're not pulling towards our face. We're just letting time and gravity work on this right leg. If you have been very active using your lower legs, if you're a runner, this series is going to feel nice for you. Very nice. It's going to do good things for you. Don't do it immediately after a run, because one of the principles of Yin Yoga is you want to do it when your muscles are cold. You don't want to do it when your muscles are warm. It's very different from most other forms of exercise that way. And the reason you don't want to practice Yin Yoga when your muscles are warm is that it's just too easy to overstretch. We're really not trying to get into muscles with Yin Yoga. We're trying to get into connective tissue. And I want you to stay right where you are. I have to adjust. The strap is still around your right foot. That's the foot you started with. Pointing up towards the ceiling. And now begin to let it come out to the side. Just holding on to that exercise band. Notice if you're holding any shoulder tension, as I was, and see if you can relax those shoulders. Maybe relax the foot. Again, we're not trying to get that foot down to the floor. Just going to our edge where we feel some sensation. And then letting time and gravity do the rest of the work for us. And go ahead and stay right where you are while I, again, switch positions. Tiny little yoga space. And now take your right foot back up towards the ceiling. And then slowly begin to bring it over your left leg. Holding on to the strap by your hip. And then a little closer towards your ankle. And your next inhale, bring that right foot back towards the ceiling. Bend your left knee and bring the sole of your left foot onto the mat. Bring the right foot out to the long end of your mat and cross that right foot over your left knee, a little bit below the knee. Take a pause here. And then let the right foot fall over onto the floor, keeping the left foot where it is. So it's a fallen figure four period. If you'd like, bring that right arm up and over your head. You should feel a pretty strong stretch all along the side of your leg, up your glutes, maybe a little into your SI joint. Basically, this is a really good stretch for your IT band and a relatively safe one. And if your knee can't get all the way to the floor, if your left knee doesn't get all the way to the floor, feel free to put a block under it, a pillow, a folded blanket. Just bring the floor to you. Last few breaths here. Last breath, let go of that right foot. Unwind your legs. Take the soles of both feet to your mat. And perhaps walk your feet out so they're as wide as the mat. And let the knees fall in if that feels good for you. If you need to make some other kind of movement, maybe some windshield wipers, go ahead and do that. Maybe you just need to move that right leg around just a little bit. And then, of course, we're going on to second side. So now we're going to work on our left leg, and I will be moving back and forth again. So take your right leg long on the mat, bend your right knee into your chest, take your strap or your fingers, grab a hold onto that left foot, and just let go. And try not to hold too far up towards your foot so that your arm can just be supported by the mat. Go ahead and gently and slowly let that left foot open out towards the floor, holding onto the strap. One hand near your hip, and one hand about roughly around where your knee is. If this feels like too much effort, you can always grab a block, place it, or a couple of blocks, place it under that leg, give it something to relax into. The last couple of breaths. On your next inhale, begin to take that left foot back up towards the ceiling. And then slowly and gently let it fall over the right leg. And you guys stay there as I move around. So I can show you what that looks like. In case you're not familiar with it, just go ahead and let it come down over the opposite leg, over that right leg. Holding your band near your left hip and left knee. Trying to let your whole body soften into this hold. Letting go of tension, letting go of any muscle that you may be contracting. And last couple of breaths. On your next inhale, begin to move that left foot up towards the ceiling. Bend the right leg and bring the sole of the right foot to your mat. Gently bend the left leg. Right leg, no, left leg. Bend it out towards the side of your mat. The left foot is flexed and just a little bit below that right knee. Take a couple breaths here. Trying to make sure your hips are level. And then not changing the shape at all, just let that left foot fall over towards your mat or floor. And I'm going to switch positions again. Oh, actually, I need to stay this way. Otherwise, you can't see me. And inhale the left arm up and over your head if that's comfortable for you. If this left foot doesn't get to the floor, you can always place it on a block. Try to make sure your shoulders are both on the mat. And giving the IT band on this side and the whole side body really a nice long stretch. I do enjoy this stretch. It might feel too intense for you. You can always stick with the figure 4. You can use blocks and blankets to bring the floor up to you and make it feel less intense. And do your best to just let go and soften. And the last few breaths here. Very slowly begin to unwind that left leg, bringing the soles of both feet to your mat. Maybe taking your feet as wide as a mat, letting those knees come in towards each other. Maybe windshield wipering, letting the knees fall from side to side. Whatever feels good to you. And we're now moving into our last few poses, and we're going to be doing some longer holds, about the same as we did with the IT band stretch. As we're winding down, letting you move from activity to calm, from sympathetic nervous system to parasympathetic nervous system, to rest and digest. And wherever you are, pull one knee into your chest, holding onto your shin, your knees, your ankles, pretty much wherever feels right to you. You can grab just below those knees and clasp your wrists, wherever feels right for you. Dip your chin just a little bit so that your neck is protected. And just let go. And this is wind releasing pose. It's very appropriate for the windy fall season. It is a nice gentle stretch along your low back, and it's really good for digestion as well. See if maybe you can breathe into that low back a little bit, or maybe into your digestive organs. Just sending some prana down that way. And notice if you're tending to jut your jaw up towards the ceiling. I notice that I have a tendency to do that. Like I said, just dip it just a little bit. One last few breaths here. Wherever you're holding your legs, keep your knees bent into the chest, but let your arms go, your hands go. And then take one foot, flex it, bring it up towards the ceiling. Reach with your hand either to your foot, or your shin, wherever you might be able to hold. And then do the same with your second foot. If this feels like too much for you, you can always take one foot down, having the knee bent. You could also try having one foot straight along your mat. It's up to you what feels good in your body. It's another pose that is great for opening our hips, getting a little stretch across the hamstrings, a little stretch across the low back. If you are taking a one-legged variation, I'll let you know when to change. If you did take a one-legged version, a half-happy baby, go ahead and switch legs now. One last few breaths here. On your next inhale, release one foot back to the mat, and then the other. Go ahead and take the soles of your feet together, and let your knees open up to either side of the mat. Arms can come down by your side. Palms can be down on your mat. They can be facing up. You have the option to take your hands to your belly and take it to your heart. One hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Wherever feels best. You can even goalpost them behind you if you'd like. Have a little heart opening. I don't suggest that if you're doing this in the evening. If you're doing this during the day, that might be a good idea. Anytime we open up our heart like this, it's a very energizing move. And my intention for this practice for you is to have it be deeply distressing, de-stressing, not distressing, and to feel really, really nourishing to your body, maybe to your mind and spirit too, I hope. If it feels too difficult for your knees to be up like this, you can always take a couple of blocks under them. And again, watch what your jaw is doing. See what feels right in your body. Again, just slowly let those legs, perhaps over time, begin to open up a little bit more. Don't try to force it. Just let it happen. Relax your face and your jaw. Relax your shoulders. And slowly begin to extend one foot down to the mat and the other foot, letting the feet fall open. Moving into our final pose, Savasana, corpse pose. Grant yourself this time to relax, to let this practice integrate. I'm going to sit up so that I can mind the time for us. But you go ahead and stay relaxed, and I will let you know when it is time to begin to move again. Let your body begin to feel very heavy. Perhaps on an inhale, you try to lengthen up through your spine while still just laying on your mat. Let your pelvis be very heavy and open and relaxed. Those shoulders melt back into your mat. Let your face, your eyes, your jaw all soften. Let the arms and the legs feel supported by the earth. The whole body completely supported by the earth, so that you can relax and let go. Go ahead and begin to let your breath deepen. Still feeling supported by the earth. Begin to wiggle your hands and your toes. If your eyes were shut, go ahead and keep them shut. Begin to circle your wrists and your ankles in one direction. Bring a little movement back into your body. And then circling in the other direction. Go ahead and raise your hands up over your head, maybe wiggling just a little bit. Taking your legs away from your hands. Nice big stretch as if you just woke up. And then bring one knee into your chest and the other knee into your chest. Letting your legs fall over to whichever side feels right to you. Cradling your head on your lower arm. Take a few deep breaths here. Eyes are still closed if they started closed. Very slowly begin to push into one palm, bringing yourself up to one elbow, and then slowly pushing yourself up into a seated position, eyes still closed if they started out closed. Inhale, press your palms together. Middle fingers are pointing straight up towards the sky. Elbows are wide. Take a few breaths here. Then begin to rub your hands back and forth vigorously, bringing yourself back into the here and now, back into this day, into this moment. And then take your hands over your eyes. Your palms are pressing into your eyes. Your right hand is gently over the left. Just take a few breaths here. Bowing your head slightly. And then slowly bringing your hands down. And slowly blinking your eyes open. Taking in your mat. Raising your head. Taking in the rest of the room. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope that you feel less stress if you were feeling stressed before this practice. Notice how you feel after the practice. Notice how you feel tomorrow. This is my gift to you to help you have less stress in your body, less stress in your mind, less stress in your spirit. And remember every day, go inside, find the calm, the peace, the bliss. It's always there waiting for you.